All right, music fans, truth seekers, entertainment junkies, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, celebrating the demise of a talk show host. I'm celebrating. I'm going to have a little party just like people are celebrating assassination online. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the guy is healthy. He's still alive. I wish him well, by the way. I hope he finds a new job. And doing what I do in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. Maybe I should do a happy dance, huh? So Jimmy Kimmel get fired. um, well, no, not technically. It says he's like suspended indefinitely, preempted. That's what it says here. The Jimmy Kimmel live show has been preempted indefinitely following Kimmel's statements about the killing of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Now, if Kimmel had taken the high road like the rock media has, you know how the rock media has taken the high road? They haven't mentioned it at all. It's like this big, huge event. But when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, rockers weighed in on her significance. I'll never forget, my feed just lit up with all of these rock people commenting about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I'm like, huh? Yes, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a truth teller. She advocated for the killing of unborn children. So she's a hero. She's a hero to us. And so rockers weigh in because of her views. A lot of these rock stars didn't have to pay child support. So they're probably really happy about that. Anyway, getting back to this here. Sorry, I went off on that tangent. I feel kind of bad about it, but I did it anyway. Nexstar president Andrew Alford said Kimmel's comments were offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse and did not reflect the values of local communities. Yeah, and neither does crashing prayer vigils. We interrupt this prayer vigil with yelling and screaming and ranting and claims of fascism when people are just trying to pray. This is when you know you're dealing with good versus evil. That's kind of when you know. It's like, uh-oh, evil is here. Lock the doors, go inside because evil is here. And a lot of people feel that way. And I said yesterday in another exciting video that you should go watch because not enough people did, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous because these people, again, they're doctors, they're veterinarians, they're lawyers, they're healthcare workers, they're just, I don't know, teachers. You want a teacher like that teaching your kids? Yeah, assassination's okay because he had it coming. The fallout began when Kimmel suggested during his Monday monologue that Kirk's assassin may have been part of the MAGA gang. That's a great example of gaslighting. Okay, you want like a textbook version of gaslighting? It's MAGA that did it to MAGA. Of course MAGA would do it to MAGA. Wow. And he also mocked President Trump's decision to order flags flown at half-mast. What? The guy was assassinated. This is like the first political assassination in America since 1968. And it's blatantly because, whatever manifesto, whatever words, this can't go unchallenged. We have to do something. How about you have a conversation with somebody? And your plan seems to have backfired because this turning point thing, it's going to be bigger than it ever was. Now, you may not find another leader like Charlie, but a lot of other organizations might pop up that will just run right alongside what Turning Point is doing. But anyway, that's another discussion. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, of course, the FCC has been politicized. Okay, everything's politicized. So whoever's in charge has a responsibility to try to stay neutral, kind of like the Fed, right? That's supposed to be neutral too. It's not. Anyway, Brendan Carr responded by calling Kimmel's assertions truly sick And he warned ABC. Now, he didn't fine ABC, but he did say they could face consequences, including potential action against their broadcast license. Kimmel said something I believe that is so untrue. I would say it's a form of slander. It's just so untrue. It's not even close. Um, and I don't know how you say he's part of the MAGA gang. That's just wow. Carr emphasized stations had a responsibility to not mislead the public and cautioned that suspension was one possible outcome. Reports on the suspect contradicted Kimmel's characterization. Authorities identified 22-year-old Tyler Robinson as the alleged shooter. Family members indicated Robinson disliked Kirk and held left-leaning views. Relatives recounted that his partner hated conservatives and Christians. A detail later confirmed by Utah Governor Spencer Cox, who noted the partner was trying to switch from dude to non-dude. Okay, so, and that was a message that was left for his partner. Robinson admitted to doing the deed. He admitted it. So I'm thinking this is going to be kind of a slam dunk as far as a conviction here. It's not going to be very difficult. As far as late night TV, here's another reality for late night. Late night is just not appealing. A lot of people, with the stress of their day, people working 2 jobs, people working long hours, most people want to go to bed. The old days, right? You had maybe a normal 40-hour work week. You'd get home. You could stay up till 11:30 or 12 or whatever these shows. I think if you watch this, it gets done at like 12:30. Who stays up till 12:30? Not too many people. But there was a market for it in the old days, and Johnny Carson and Jay Leno, those guys did a great job, and they kept people watching. But really, most people watched the monologue and maybe one guest, and then they probably went to bed after that, A lot of times there was a musical performance later in the show. I remember that. It's kind of like an SNL thing. But late night isn't profitable. And you add to the unprofitability, you add this political sort of bent to it, and it's just, why? People want to laugh. I mean, society is already super stressful, and it costs a lot of money to do things today. And so, hey, this would be a good way to give people some entertainment. And of course, you've got, the pharmaceutical industrial complex advertising on these shows, because this is their core audience, the people who want to go out and get their 9th booster or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, this is really going to hurt the bottom line for these networks. They're going to have to find new advertisers. And then you've got Greg Gutfeld kicking everyone's butt over on Fox, which is a cable channel. But it's killing these network channels whoever is consulting with these people, right? You've got YouTube, you've got multiple platforms that are putting forth interesting content. You've got all these pay-per-view, Paramount, whatever, all this stuff out there, Netflix. People would rather watch what they want to watch when they want to watch it. So this whole format, quite honestly, is going down the tubes, and I predict that NBC will probably pull the plug on The Tonight Show, which is crazy considering that's a show where, you had all of the beginnings to late night talk and entertainment with Johnny Carson and, what was it, Jack Parr before Johnny Carson? I don't even know if that's right. But anyway, that legacy has been destroyed by people who just made the whole thing political. And so, anyway, is this good news? I don't know. It may cause a backlash. You just be safe out there, people. Be safe, because you don't know who these people are who dislike you because you disagree with them politically. They may look just normal and innocuous and so forth. But I would, get your head on a swivel a little bit. When you have conversations with people, listen carefully with what they're saying. If they start in on, oh, I can't believe that so many people care about this guy who was shot, um, you probably want to leave the building, or just get out of there. Don't engage. Say, you know what? We live. I mean, if you want to engage, I guess that's up to you. But I want to live in a country that's not okay when someone gets assassinated for a political viewpoint, even if I disagree with that viewpoint. I'd be here if this were Bernie Sanders. I would be like, that's horrible. That's atrocious. He shouldn't have got shot. I didn't agree with him, but we're in an insane world, and don't do that. But anyway, folks, another slow day in the world of classic rock. If you're looking for music-oriented stuff, I scoured the internet this morning, and just there wasn't really that much. Steven Tyler did a nice job singing with Joe Perry last night. If you're an Aerosmith fan, maybe there's more of that to come. Who knows, right? We just hope, because a lot of folks didn't get closure on that, and I've already done a video about that. So a friend of mine said, how do you come up with content rather every day? And I'm just like, I don't know. I try. Some days it's easier than other days. Today it was all about Jimmy Kimmel, so I had to do a video about that. So thanks to those of you who put up with me. And also, if you want to support me, there's Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee, and PJ Rock Super Chats. I'll try in the next one to do some music-oriented stuff. Until then, God bless everyone. Remember, Jesus loves you, even if you're screwed up, even if you're a misfit like me. Jesus is still right there wanting a relationship. So think about that, all right? See you soon.